everybody? It's me, the F-Bomb, and I'm here with the guys from Among the Willows. They just finished their first set here at C Bars on 180 East 185th in Euclid, holding the crowd in, which is what you guys did the last time I saw you as well. We're celebrating a birthday over here. Are you sure you're 21 yet? Because you don't look.
I just turned 21. Had my first drink today.
Today was the day. Good
Thank
for
you.
him.
Starting at 12.
Anyway, let me introduce the band a little bit for you because, these guys deserve to be highlighted, and that's why I'm here. I've seen these guys a few times now, and it's time for them to be seen by others outside of this, I think. So, anyway, on vocals, we have Cody Schilling. He is, when I mentioned the Black Crowes earlier in my introduction, it's because you pull down those Chris Robinson vibes.
I appreciate that. They're my top 5 favorite bands.
Yeah.
I love the Black Crowes.
Have you ever gotten that before, though?
I think once or twice,
Yeah.
but he's one of my favorite lead singers.
Cody plays with his brother, so why don't you introduce yourself?
My name's Eric. I'm the bass player, and I just started playing bass when we started.
Like last week?
Right when we started this band, and now it's my instrument.
Now don't let him fool you on the footage. I mean, he's going to be really intent on what he's doing, but he's having a good time. But you're laying down the track so these guys can open up and let it rip, man. You too, man. The rhythm section here is powerful and tight. Makes it easier for you guys to do what you guys do. And then how about you, birthday boy? Why don't you introduce yourself?
My name's Nate Lapou. I have the privilege of playing drums.
And you're having a good time back there doing it too. I can see why, man. I can see why. And then over here on my left, this is Johnny Leffler. He is the lead guitar player. And, as I mentioned before, I mean, this guy, I don't know where you get your chops from. I don't know what happened to you as a child, but you've got some of the best influences all blended in. I mentioned like Lenny Kravitz. I mean, like not many people like reference Lenny so much, but when you play some of your funky stuff, like some of my favorite songs in there, some of that funk infused things, that is who I think of. And then it like goes right into like maybe Billy Gibbons of ZZ Top or something. And I'm naming guitarists that are well known only because some of the folks out there aren't privy to some of the more, obscure guitar players. But I did hear you guys play some Robert Cray tonight. Impressive. Not very many people cover Robert Cray, I'm just letting you know, but that highlighted your skill big time. This guy over here, I can see why. And you're like, let's do it. So tell me a little bit about, well, wait a minute, it's a fun fact. I just want you to know, your father introduced himself to me tonight, and I was going to ask the question, where does this musical funnel land? Because if some of you remember, I talked to Bad Juju and asked the drummer, who should we be looking out for? And when they said Among the Willows, I'm like, I know those guys and I love them. So here's this family of guys that obviously it funneled down from their father who played in the Burnt River Band. So you guys know I know most of my followers know who the Burnt River Band is. So he introduced himself to me tonight, and he made sure to let me know he was your dad. He's very proud of you guys. Yeah. So as you guys know, one of my favorite songs is Gypsy Queen. My favorite album is the second album, known as No Chaser, which the growth that's come from all of your albums when I listen to them is markedly incredible. And when I say that you come from like obviously a blues background guitar player, you don't funnel yourself into that. And I'm going to get to that in a second, but that's not the only flavor of this band. And that's why I really appreciate you guys. But why don't you tell me one of your influences, Cody? What got you going, and who was it that you can think of that really did it for you?
Man, all right, let's see here. Well, I was in a band. I started playing when I was in a band in high school. So I actually started playing drums because a couple of my one neighbor, I went to a different middle school, came and knocked on my door, and they go, hey, they knew my dad had a drum kit. And they're like, hey, is Cody home? And when we'd hang out in elementary school, they knew my dad's kit was down there. So then they came over, and I was like, my dad's like, hey, so-and-so's here, and they want to talk to you. I'm like, weird. I go, I haven't seen him in like 2 years. So they go, hey, you want to be in a band? And I'm like, I guess. So, and then ever since then, I was 14, and then started playing in bands and was in a band in high school. But if I look at my influences, probably Green Day. very influential. Especially like I look at when I was in a band in high school, them for sure. There's a band called Gaslight Anthem who I think should get. They're from New Jersey, and they're a very I know they're sweet. They're very like every record's different. They don't like pigeonhole themselves in a certain style of music they do, because their first record's like super punk, and then it gets full like kind of, and then it just kind of goes to like like Americana, and it changes throughout every record, and they're one of my favorites. Them and the Black Crowes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Interesting. So I remember talking to you the last time I was over here, and you were talking about, I think you grew up, most of you guys grew up together, is that right?
Yeah, I've been friends with this guy since I could walk, and we used to hang out in my basement all day and just play music till the wee hours of the morning.
Yeah,
And
$100 electric guitar.
yeah,
And cheap drums.
and
Oh, we got this.
and I remember I'm washing windows one day. I was in a different band, and we kind of broke up. The guys traveled out of town for work and whatnot. Cody messaged me on Instagram. He's like, "Hey, any thoughts about playing drums with us? I'm thinking about stepping away." And I was like, "Oh, dude!" At that point, I was ready to hang him up. Like, I had the shit posted. I was gonna sell. I was like, "I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna sell that." And I remember like, "Oh boy, like we should probably talk about it." And we got together and chit chatted for a little bit, and we got together for one practice, and it was like me and this kid didn't miss a day, and it just gelled. And then this wizard just puts the rest of it together, and Cody writes words before we're done with practice, so it just clicked, and I was like, hell yeah, I'm in. It was so fun.
So what kind of music did you grow up on?
Oh, classic rock.
Yeah.
My uncles, they're here today. I was Zeppelin, Floyd. I personally loved Blink-182 growing up. That was like my big band. Travis Barker was one of my idols. But any drummer will tell you, John, Stewart. There's so many that I like love to watch drum, and it's just so fun. And then when they already had 3 albums out by the time I came in. So it was like I would go to their shows. We played together, and we all like they're my boys. Like it was so much fun.
We already knew how to play everything. Yeah, just from listening. So yeah, that's great.
Well, what about you? Tell me where you grabbed the bass, or did you start on another instrument first?
Well, started on drums, but we had 4 brothers, so we couldn't all play the drums. So I started playing electric guitar. Here and there, I could play simple stuff. I'd fiddle around, and then when they got together, asked me if I wanted to play bass. Our brother Chuck in Bad Juju, I texted him. I was like, hey, because he sells instruments, buys them. Can you find me a bass? Found me a bass for $100. He said the guy works at Classic Toyota. I work right next door. I walked across the yard, bought the bass for $100. I've been playing ever since. But influence-wise, Rush is my favorite band. I love Floyd, Zeppelin, Blink-182, 311. Stick Figure, I love reggae. Angels and Airwaves I was listening to today. It's unbelievable. Honestly, a little bit of everything.
And that shows too. It does. It shows. It's very cohesive what you guys do, but you can tell that there's just this multitude of influences that you guys pull from, and that's what makes this. You're just not like a 4-bar blues, 8-bar blues, anything like that. I mean, you guys lay down some tracks that are stellar, in my opinion. I mean, traditional rock bands can be a dime a dozen and sometimes sound the same if they're not very creative. And you guys have this big palette, this big smorgasbord going on. I love that. So, Johnny, I did a little snooping on your Facebook page once I friended you. This guy is you're obviously a vintage gearhead. Like, you're the deep dive guy. But not only that, though, this guy commands his instruments and the gear that he plays. I mean, I've seen guitar players that can't do either, and I've seen guitar players that can only do one, but not both. So tell me a little bit about, what you're looking for, and have you found your sound? To me, you have, but that's subjective.
Yeah, I mean, currently, right now, yeah, I'm pretty content with the gear I have, the tones I'm getting from everything, and really, like, it's kind of to a point where there's maybe some, like, minor kind of refinement that may happen here and there, but for the most part, I'm honestly really thankful and fortunate to have and own some of the stuff that I have. So it feels really good. Yeah.
So I don't even think that I have to ask what your influences are, because I mean we can talk Stevie Ray Vaughan, we can talk, any number, Johnny Lang, Kenny Wayne Shepherd, Robin Trower's in there. I mean, it's very clear on some of the songs. So, but is there anybody a little more eclectic that maybe people don't really hear too much of?
Another guy that's in the same vein who's kind of a little under the radar, even though he shouldn't be, is a guy named Philip Sace. He's been around for years and years. He got his start. He played for a handful of years in Jeff Healey's band in the late 90s to the early 2000s, and I discovered him randomly on YouTube through a YouTube comment back in 2010, and have been, a fan ever since. And he's been huge influence on, my tone and some of the gear I play. So yeah, he's definitely one. But really, I was fortunate growing up as a kid. There was always music playing in the house, so I was introduced to, a lot of the people you mentioned, like Stevie, Jimmy, Pink Floyd, Stones, Rod Stewart, Mark Knopfler, list goes on. So that really kind of kick-started me, and on top of just music playing in the house, my dad always had VHS tapes of shows he'd play, and I'd watch them with him and stuff. So
he was a player too?
No, just it's a big music fan, and then me being there watching it, that's what kind of gave me the spark to want to play. And when I was 8, that's when I finally got my first guitar, and it's kind of a odd path I went down, because from the time I was 8 to 16, I took lessons, and then around the time I turned 18, I actually stopped playing altogether. Didn't even have a guitar again until I turned 21, and then one night I was just bored at home and ended up buying a Squire Strat for $100. And then when it came, I was so disappointed in myself from how much I had forgotten over that time, taking lessons. But that's really what gave me the spark to really want to get after it again, and that spark has never died since.
But I love the fact that you guys have these broad influences, and it just, when you guys write your music, before I go into that, are you all songwriters, or do you have a primary songwriter?
I'll do all the lyrics.
Yeah.
And then these guys create. I write. Yeah, and then these guys create the music end of it, and then I just feel the vibe of what the song is, and then just an emotion hits me, and I just kind of write what I feel it should be about. I'm very fortunate because these guys, I'm like, if you guys don't like it, tell me. And I've never had that happen.
I mean, understandable. I'm right with you. I mean, I'm so glad you do. Oh, I'm all steamy. Woo! I'm all steamy. I'm dewy. I'm not sweaty. I'm dewy. All right, let's see what other notes I got here. So the band's origin, though, if I recall, you guys were the Blue Collar Coalition at one time, and same members.
At that time, it was just us three, because the first 3 records, I played drums and sang. So then and then back in it was 2023 is when I got a hold of Nate, and I was like, hey man, I want to step down and sing, and then he came in and played drums. So we've been a 4-piece for 3 years, guys. Yeah.
So you were like the Don Henley of the band then, because he did a lot of writing, for the band too.
I tried my best, but I could tell you it was starting to take a toll on me after work on Fridays and playing a 9 to 1, body just started. It was tough. I was like, man, I'd rather just sing and focus on that and put my effort into that 100%. And I was like, I'll reach out to Nate and hopefully he does it. And it's been awesome. It's been awesome. Very lucky.
Very lucky indeed. Very lucky indeed. So we talked a little bit about your family association, which answered a few questions for me, such as the song Old Soul. Very clear that was about somebody in your life, because obviously you're not old enough to be that, to have that touchstone to it without somebody being the muse for it. So, yeah.
100%. Yeah, I wrote that one about my dad.
Yeah.
Because he grew up and he played in Burnt River and he would play the stages and play the bars, and he did it we needed the income, so he was gone when I was little a lot on the weekends. So I wrote that about him, and kind of like I'm also too kind of doing the same thing to a point where when I say like I'm just a joker playing one night stands, like I'm the musician. People are coming to see, I don't know, a jester or whatever. Like I'm the musician up there playing that. So it reminds me a lot of kind of what he did. So it's one of those things, you know.
I love that. I wondered about that. He answered that question for me. So I think that's admirable to respect your father so much so that you would write a song about him in that fashion. And to be able to relate to him in that way. Not from a person outside looking in, as a child watching your father play. Now here you are, filling in that space too. Yeah, it is. It really is. And some of these songs are super personal too. Was that one, Piece in a 45? Yeah, I mean, that's
one of the first songs I remember when we got together, and I gel with that song so much just because the groove and the lyrics, it just hits in a different way that a lot of songs don't.
Yeah.
And I remember listening to it in my car, and I'm like, every time goosebumps. So when we're practicing, they're like, hey, what song do you guys want to try first? I was like, Piece in a 45. And they're like, whoa! Like, what? Wait, what?
That's a heavy song. I mean, like, it's a deep, dark song,
There's a few songs that like I played with these guys for a while and played gigs with them as a band before I was with them. And I remember a few songs that stuck in my head. That was one of them, and Chasing Ghosts. And I relate to them so much, and it's just been so cool. That was one of the coolest ones.
So lucky to have you. He's amazing. He is. And like the moment he came into the band, it was like the first thing, just gelled right away. And I mean, he knew my brother growing up, so I've known him a long time, but to gel like that is something. A band it's weird. I've tried bands before me and John got together, and sometimes if there's not a right direction, and it's hard. It's hard to find a group of guys that get along really great and have the same personality, and on top of that, you gel musically too.
Yeah.
It's a family dynamic, and I think a great thing on how we work well is because we've known each other for so long, and it's a great thing. It's cool.
So, what do you feel? Let me say this: Among the Willows, I've seen posted at the House of Blues Foundation Room. You guys seem to play here a lot. This seems to be your home base. Yeah. Okay. But how do you feel about the original scene in Cleveland? Do you feel supported by venues? Do you feel supported by other musicians, or do you feel like there's this gatekeeping thing that goes on that's been around for a long time? But
Cleveland do such a good job of representing local music because it's the heart of rock and roll is in Cleveland, Ohio, and the venues that are around here do such a good job of representing, supporting, making sure that the bands that are from here are heard, because there's such good music coming out of this area of the country that nobody knows of. And
there is.
And you don't realize until you go out for a drink on a weekend and hear them, you're like, oh my God, who are these guys? And it's like, yeah, this is just another run-in-the-mill band that you could catch on a Saturday anywhere or a Friday anywhere. And we're lucky. And I'm fortunate. Dude, Paul Svelbar from C-Bar is here. He's the man.
He's always been very supportive of music, no matter it's cover or originals. I mean, he wants his clientele to have something to come into. And let's talk about what's new with Among the Willows, and that is the new album, Outlier, has been cut, pasted, dried, whatever you want to say, and is going to be slowly fed to us. And let me just give you my summation of Turn to Dust, okay? So I first heard it, the very first time I heard it, I'm listening to it and I go, is Friends coming out with a reunion show? Because the introduction just kind of like, that's a very, that is and you say that, but it's no shit. You guys, that's a radio ready song easily. But Bryan Adams could have wrote that song because of that. It just reminds me of that. And that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that at all. But once the lyrics kicked in, I'm like, oh, he just kicked me right in 1986, man. Those backyard parties, those keggers on the back road with the bonfire and, running from the cops. All of that stuff. And young love and being in love and thinking, this is it, man, this is it. And so the whole song doesn't make me feel like a Friends reunion show. That intro did. But it's definitely a little bit of a sway away from your typical Among the Willows song. So is this what we can expect from the rest of the album, do you think? Or no? No, so it's going to be like the other ones where you're swimming through a lot of channels. Yeah, that's cool.
There's some deep cuts. There's some absolute thunder songs. There's some ballads. There's some feel good songs. I mean, it was wild. That album came together quick. And then we wanted to make sure we figured it out. Backups, what we were going to do, the vision of the songs. We didn't try to just rush because we had material, just throw it out there. We really wanted to make sure it was done, and I feel like this album does a great job of showcasing everybody, and it's awesome.
And cheers to the guy behind the board, whoever that was.
Jim Stewart
Made you guys really clear.
Props to that man, Jim Stewart, man. He is the man. He makes life so easy. He's the coolest guy. Great studio. He's just makes you feel comfortable.
Like we work with Amish Electric Chair Studio, and Neil's awesome. We wanted to stay closer to home, so we decided on Jim Stewart, and Jim was awesome. And he makes you feel at home. When you feel at home, and it was the same way down there too. It's nice. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, it's really, like I said, it's a little different vibe, that particular song. But then I heard the other song that you guys played from it tonight. What was the name of that song?
The Sugar's Last Dance. Okay.
Okay, I'm waiting for that one to be released too because I liked it. I got a groove on almost immediately. That was a great one. So make sure that you go to Among the Willows on Apple, Spotify, wherever, and go to the new song and then go back and listen to the others, and you'll see what I'm talking about when these guys have this racetrack of multiple cars that you can just pick one. Just pick one. They're all great. Just pick one. Okay? So where is the next gig for Among the Willows?
Here actually, yeah. C-Bars Fest, yep.
August 1st.
Yeah.
August 1st? Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody, I am the F-Bomb. This is Among the Willows. It's been a pleasure talking to them tonight, and it's been a pleasure getting to know you guys. I feel like every time I come in, now I'm meeting some friends. Now I'm meeting some people that I can relate to, So if you haven't seen them, follow them. Get on Instagram, Facebook, wherever. Follow them around. Come to C-Bars. I mean, this is a decent place. Nice porch out here. Food's always running out of that kitchen, too, I gotta say. So check out Among the Willows. Listen to them. Give them a like, follow, share. Come and see a live gig, too. That's what you want to do. Support the band in any way you can. I'm the F-Bomb. I'm going to see you at the next gig. Oh, wait. One last question. What's your favorite part of the day?
Right now.
Yes. Winner, chicken dinner.